I didn't have major culture shocks, but definitely some adjustments. Like, it's important to know how to avoid culture shock and reshaping yourself to the new country. It's not a holiday anymore. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about one thing that is bothering lots of expats, and it's a culture shock. I've heard lots of people talking about it and suffering some culture shocks. For me personally, it wasn't such a big deal when I moved to Italy because I kind of knew what I was going to get here, and I've been to Italy several times before and I sort of knew what to expect. However, still, of course, there was some adjustments to make. I mean, I didn't have major culture shocks, but definitely some adjustments, like the eating schedule, for example, for me was kind of different, or the operating schedule of some local businesses, of locations, of bureaucratic offices. Of course, that was a bit different for me and I had to adjust to it, but it wasn't a major thing, it wasn't a big deal for me. While I know that people, especially from northern countries, when they're coming to Italy, for example, do have quite a lot of difficulties when they need to adjust to this new culture, and they might encounter some culture shocks. And it's a normal thing when people are coming from different cultures, from different backgrounds. And I have some tips for you on how to avoid the culture shock, or at least to make it a little bit less significant, to make it less difficult for you to adjust to living in a new culture, in a new country. And I want to share those tips with you. So if you're ready, let's get into the video. So my tip number one is to educate yourself beforehand. I've talked about it a billion times before, but I just feel like this is the most important thing, and I want to say it once again. Educate yourself before moving abroad. It's very important that you learn beforehand about the local customs and tradition and more about local culture, that you talk to other expats living in your dream destinations. Maybe look for some blogs or Facebook groups where you can actually meet those expats and ask them for an advice. Try to talk to locals, because locals will definitely give you a better insight. If you have local friends already, that would be really helpful for you to avoid the culture shock upon arrival. And also, just do your research. Maybe try visiting this place before moving. Try living here for a little bit before making a big move, before making a big decision of living in that place. Try living there for a week or a month and just see what life is like there. And that will definitely help you with, avoiding the culture shock. My tip number two is to learn the history. It might not be the very common tip, it might not be the advice you will hear everywhere, but trust me, history is repeating itself all the time, and learning at least a little bit about local history will actually help you to understand better local people, their mindset, their living, their habits and their traditions. And trust me, the history is the same. I mean, the way the people lived hundreds of years ago, even 1,000 years ago, is very often is the same. Their daily life, their habits, even how the politics work in each country, it will be the same. You will notice these same patterns. It might not be, of course, exactly the same. However, you will see some very repeating patterns, and that's okay. And maybe if you know a little bit about the history of that place, some things will seem different to you. It will be all about perspective, and looking at some things from the historic perspective, some things that could have been shocking to you might not be as shocking anymore when you understand where they're coming from, when you understand their origins. My tip number three is to lower your expectations. Moving abroad will not solve your problems. You don't need to move abroad in order to escape from your life back home, from the life that you don't like, or your problems back home, because it basically is running away from yourself, and you can't run away from yourself. So don't expect that the new country will magically solve all your problems. Don't expect that in the new country you will magically be happy, that you'll find happiness just by moving abroad. It's a very different thing. Don't make your new country responsible for your happiness. It's alright when you're struggling, it's alright admitting it. Just lower your expectations, because when you have too high expectations, you will end up disappointed, and you will be shocked from those maybe minor things, but you didn't expect them, and you will end up disappointed. You will never be ready for everything. Just accept it. You will never be prepared for everything that awaits you. You will encounter the challenges, you will encounter the difficulties, and that's fine. Prepare yourself that you'll never be prepared for everything, and that's okay. Admitting that you're struggling and even asking for help is totally fine. Don't think that your life abroad should be a walk in the park, because you're building your life from scratch, and that's fine, because you're not on a holiday anymore. So just lower your expectations. Don't expect it to be miracle cure to all your problems, and trust me, it will be easier for you to adjust to your new life. That's the best way to approach moving abroad. Just know that happiness comes from within you, and you will find this happiness wherever you go. My next tip is kind of related to the previous one. Don't try to control everything. I myself am a recovering control freak, and I might still get this urge to control everything from time to time, but I'm trying to fight this habit because it's really destructive for you. When you try to control everything and you're moving abroad, you have to know and you have to be prepared for the fact that everything will work the other way, and you cannot control what you don't know. You can't control the things that are working in a different way than you are used to, and that's fine. That's absolutely okay. You just need to go with the flow and let go of this controlling self, because you might get disappointed when trying to control things that are uncontrollable actually. For example, for me in Italy, it's been the thing with bureaucracy or long waiting times, and I know that these things are happening in other countries as well, or maybe you will find other things that you can't control and that you struggle with. And the easiest way is to just let it go and go with the flow without obsessing over having everything under control, without obsessing over the idea that everything needs to be in place and that you need to be in place. Just know that moving abroad is kind of reshaping yourself to the new country, reshaping your life to the new country, and be ready for that change. My fifth and last tip is to enjoy the ride. Moving abroad could be a fantastic experience if you want it to be a fantastic experience, if you just accept the challenges, if you accept the changes, and if you just go with the flow and enjoy the journey. Remember that there will not be a point in your moving abroad, in your life abroad, where you'll just say, okay, now I'm settled down, now I have everything in place and everything works the way I want it to work. That's life, and it will never be this way. It will be a constant work in progress, and that's fine. It will be a constant work on yourself first of all, and that's fine too. Don't expect to find some finish line or some prize at the end of the ride, because it's an endless trip. Your life abroad is an endless experience. Just enjoy the ride without looking for the finish, with all the bumps along the road in the form of culture shocks and other challenges. And just know that moving abroad could easily become the best experience of your life. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little chit-chat video where I shared my tips for approaching culture shock and fighting the culture shock. And if you like it, don't forget to put me a thumbs up, to comment and share it with your friends. And if you're new here, welcome to Dramatically Expatic. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get the notifications of all the upcoming videos, so we can see each other pretty soon. Thank you for being here and enjoy your day.